Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting closer to the start of our competition.
Well, a very good morning and welcome to the Clyde Auditorium for the first of our visits to the Commonwealth Games weightlifting for 2014. A terrific venue, and alongside myself, David Goldstrom, Commonwealth Games champion for Canada in Melbourne, Jeannie Larson. Jeannie, very good morning to you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we've got a great set of weightlifting competitions over the next 10 days. And today we're going to start off with the men's 56 kilo B division. And just to explain how that division comes about, all of the lifters who weigh in at 56 kilos or less, what happens is that they and their coaches enter an entry total, which is a total they aspire to reach, or indeed even better. And then the officials assess by way of the totals in ranking order the athletes who would go into the A group and the athletes who would go into the B group. And as you can see there, today we have 2 A medal finals, and we begin though with today's 56 kilo B group. And just to say that if you're in a B group, it doesn't mean to say that you necessarily won't get a medal, because strange things happen in the world of weightlifting. Many of those who perhaps are more favoured in the A final may run into trouble, and those in the B group have been known to excel and move up the overall order and even into a medal position. But what we'll see in the B group is everybody going for their target, their personal best. They'll have something in their mind, won't they, Jeannie?
That's right. The goal of the B category is to post the highest total possible to give the Group A a run for their money.
Exactly so, and very shortly we're going to meet those athletes who are in this very first competition. It's a terrific arena, great for spectators here as they look down on that 4-meter square stage. And just 1 or 2 rules, basics for you. If you're lifting on that platform, you must lift and complete your lift on the platform. And you must not only lift the bar up, but you must put it down on that platform. If you drop it over the edge, it's a non-valid lift.
That's right. Very important to make sure that you complete the lift, you're stable, you wait for that down signal, and you drop it on the platform.
So these are our contenders to start us off there. And those body weights, Jeannie, on the right there, very, very crucial.
That's right. When there's a case of a tie, 2 lifters doing the same weight, the athlete that weighs less will be the winner.
And also, if 2 lifters weigh in at exactly the same body weight, and you can see there that in fact in this situation we don't have that particular issue to worry about. But if there was such a situation, then the lifter who reaches the total first, if they have the same total as well, is the one who will be awarded the higher placing, or indeed even a medal.
Yes, ever since the 1 kilogram rule came into effect, so we're allowed to take 1 kilogram increments with our weights, exact body weight isn't as crucial. Previously it was 2.5 kilogram increments, so being 100 grams lighter was a huge advantage. Now it's not so hard to just do 1 kilo more.
1 or 2 records there for you. Halil Mutlu, the man who was known as the Pocket Hercules, but perhaps these are the more interesting records there, Commonwealth Games records that will be perhaps more relevant to the competitions that we're going to see over the next days. 56 kilo category, which hopefully you're going to enjoy with us. It's a category which has been dominated at the last 3 editions of the Commonwealth Games by Malaysian athletes. And in fact, it's Malaysian athletes who hold all the Commonwealth Games records. But here now, a chance to meet the stars of the show. These are the men who are most important. These are your actors in this theatre of sport that we find ourselves in.
Representing New Zealand, Lou Gagnaris.
So Lou Gagnaris for New Zealand, 4 years ago in Delhi, he was the youngest member of the New Zealand team. His brother Ian also competing here. All the way from Mauritius, Jonathan Correa, 25 years of age, inspired by his dad Mark to get involved in the sport. One of 3 brothers.
Some powerful lifting representing Malawi,
Brito Mota from Malawi. First time outside his country. First time he's used his passport to get here. Tanimowo Rasak from Nigeria. First Commonwealth Games for him. Used to be a sprinter, but transferred to weightlifting. And now, number 22 of a family of 24 involved in sport, 11 of them in weightlifting. This is Paul Ndika Matam.
Representing Papua New Guinea, Fred Oala.
Fred Oala, a 30-hour journey via Brisbane and Dubai from Port Moresby to come here.
Representing the United Republic of Tanzania, Abdullah.
And completing the lineup here, 21-year-old Abdullah, all the way from Dar es Salaam. Also, this his first Commonwealth Games appearance.
10 minutes for your final preparations.
So these are the stars of the show. These are the young men, which Jeannie just explained, will be trying to exceed their personal best, post the highest total. Then they'll sit back and they'll watch the A group a little later, and what will be, will be. And you just never know.
No,
somebody from this group could move up. They may not win a medal, but they may actually have a very decent ranking.
I think that we have a really good chance of a higher ranking from the athlete from Cameroon and from Nigeria.
Please welcome the technical officials for the men's 56-kilo Group B session.
And so another group who are exceedingly important, of course, are the officials who look after the adjudication of the competition. And you can see it's a hefty team. You've got technical controllers and referees and jury members and doctors, all very necessary to make sure that the results are right and everybody is safe.
That's right, there's only 7 athletes in this category, but as you can see, there's far more people involved in running the competition.
Here are your technical officials. The set referee from Kenya, Joseph Arundo.
Very important. The man best placed to see if you can spot a press out on either the left arm or the right arm.
The other side referee from South Africa, Gardencia Roy.
And we wish them well and may their decisions all be correct.
There's a lot of stress involved in this job. I don't envy them.
The Chief Marshal from Malta, Jasmine Kalamana.
A man who has to make sure that everything goes in the right order.
From Scotland, Jean McConville.
Nice to be involved in your host country.
Controller from Nigeria, Lawrence Ikwaibu.
Nigeria, who were the top medal nation in weightlifting and powerlifting 4 years ago in Delhi.
They're looking to repeat that again this year.
From England, Diane Treblehawk.
Great representation of the Commonwealth here.
Michael Arani.
24 years a doctor in the National Health Service.
And the doctor on duty from Malaysia, Trolochan Singh. Thank you to all of our technical officials.
So they'll go off to their various positions in the auditorium here. It's known as the armadillo. It's a sort of nickname. If you can imagine the armadillo, that's the shape of the hall when you see it from the outside there. And they're the members of the jury. Now, of course, the jury can change a decision of the referees, but they have to agree, and they have to only do it in circumstances where they really feel necessary to overrule the referees.
That's right, and it's very important to note that it's not a jury of appeal. So if a coach isn't happy, they can't go to the jury. The jury has to have decided that they disagree with those referees on their own.
Member of the jury from Australia, Pedro Sanchez. Member of the jury from Swaziland, Horst Saylor. Jury member from England, Stuart Treadwell. And our reserve member of the jury from Wales, Mary Hancock. Thank you to all of our jury members.
Well, in an ideal world, we'll not hear from them. Here's a reminder of the contestants in this 56-kilo B group. And as you can see there, Lou Guiñarez there, weighing in at 55 at 91. He's the heaviest of the class. So that may come into play here. But Lou, an experienced athlete.
That's right. Athletes try to typically weigh as close to the top of their weight class as possible. So the 56-kilo athletes would like to be 55.9 or 55.99 ideally. But we're talking about grams here. So how many sips of water did you have when you brushed your teeth this morning can come into play.
So, of course, they've had 2 hours to weigh in. And here we go back into the warm-up room to see the beginning of their preparation, Steve.
That's right. So in the warm-up area, we'll do between 8 and 10 lifts, starting with an empty bar of 20 kilograms and working up to, depending on the athlete, 95 to 100% of your first attempt out on the platform.
So if we think of it as a tank of petrol, it isn't just the 6 attempts that you see on stage. It's these warm-up attempts or warm-up preparation plus the attempts, and you've got to do that twice because you've got to take that into the clean and jerk.
That's right. So it's a sprint, but it's also a marathon in the warm-up. So you see a sprint on the platform, but the warm-up is a marathon.
And that means you've got to manage your energy, because at the end of the clean and jerk, of course, you're going to be looking for that big decisive lift to maybe put you into a personal best or even a medal position.
That's right. Energy management is crucial. So you want to make sure that you're getting to that elevated state of ready to go time, ready to go, and calming yourself down in between lifts.
So here we can see the bar is 20 kilos for the men.
That's right. That's right. It's very important to know that the bar weighs 20 kilos, and then you have your weights on each side of the bar. Very often people will see 10 kilos on one side of the bar and say, oh, they're lifting 10 kilos. Well, no, you've got 20 kilos and then 10 each side. So that would be 40.
Including, and you've got to remember the collars.
That's right. That lifter we just saw in the back wasn't using collars, but on the platform, we have collars that weigh 2.5 kilos each. So that's another 5 kilos onto the bar for safety reasons.
Interesting warm-up area. It's divided into quadrants, and that means that coaches are going to have to be very attentive. It's an individual sport when it comes to the platform, but it's a team sport when it comes to the whole of the event. You may have 2 or 3 coaches, one who will be looking specifically after the lifter, another one who will be looking at the scoreboard to see how the chess game unfolds of weights moving up, because weights can only move up, they can never come down. And the third coach may well be looking at the opposition to check on their body language.
That's right. It really is a chess game. So athletes post starting weight, and they are allowed to change it. So when we decide what our warm-up will be and the speed we're going to do the warm-up at, it is based on the other athlete's declaration. So, of course, athletes can declare a weight and then change it just in hopes of messing with another athlete's warm-up. So we definitely need coaches that are on the ball and paying attention to what other athletes are doing in the warm-up.
So in this opening competition, I think we're looking very much at the likes of Jonathan Corre from Mauritius to get off a good start. He's posted 94 kilos as his opening weight. Rasak from Nigeria, 90 kilos. those are perhaps the two standout weights in the first part of the competition. But also worth remembering, isn't it, Ginny, you know, that some lifters are better at one discipline than the other. And let's just talk about the snatch, which is what we're going to see first. Because technically, it's very demanding, isn't it? And it's not very forgiving.
It's not forgiving at all. It's a very fun lift to do, but it's a very hard lift to do under pressure. I like to compare it to a golf swing. You know, you can swing a golf stick a couple times perfectly, and then when you go for the next one, you think you're doing exactly the same thing, and you're slicing it, and you're swearing, and you're frustrated. It's a lot like that in the snatch lift. So if you're off by a couple of centimeters, it can be the difference between a successful lift and a missed lift. Very hard to have perfect technique when you're under this high stress of coming out in front of an audience and lifting heavy weights.
So let's just rewind to your career. You know, that day when you won your gold medal, you'd weighed in 2 hours before, exactly the same as these guys. Take us through what that 2 hours was and where you are. What were you able to eat? What were you able to drink?
Well, when I competed in Melbourne in 2006, I was competing in the 69 kilo class, and for me that was a very difficult weight to make, so I had to do a very strict diet for quite a while before. So eating after weigh-in, I had to eat very simple things because my stomach wasn't used to a whole lot of food anymore, so it was more about rehydrating and getting some electrolytes in me because I had to dehydrate myself to make weight. It's not fun, and I don't recommend it to anybody unless it's to go for a medal at a high-level competition. And so I did rehydrate, and then you try to rest. You go to your athlete rest area, you know, listen to some music, get in the zone. I am known for being a bit of a emotional lifter, and often I'm just trying not to throw up.
The first athlete, the first lift of this men's 56 kilo category and the Commonwealth Games, 68 kilos on the bar, from Malawi, Rito Mota.
So here we go, the first competition of the 2014 weightlifting Commonwealth Games. Sit back with Commonwealth Games champion Jeannie Lassen and myself, David Goldstrom, and enjoy the action. The bar, 68 kilos for the first of our contenders. And this is going to be Brito Mota, who is going to come onto the stage representing Malawi. Now, you'd hope here that this would be a lift that he could actually achieve without too much fuss and bother. In other words, Jeannie, something that he's done on a pretty regular basis on a competition stage as well as in the training hall.
That's right, this should be automatic.
So this is an important lift because it's your starting point from which you're going to build.
That's right. And you can see that was very easy.
The feet must be still and they must be in line, and that was correct. 3 white lines, good lift, good start.
That was a very confident start. I think he'll be going to try to beat his best right here on the second lift right now.
Let's add one more.
He's got a 75 kilo personal best in the snatch, so I would expect him to actually pile on a few kilos for the second attempt.
That's right. Automatically the bar increases by 1 kilo. So we went from 68 to 69 automatically, and now the coach has up to 2 more changes.
Ready?
Very explosive speed. Some people perhaps don't realize, but I don't know what your speed limit is in your various countries watching us. Here in the United Kingdom, it's 70 miles an hour, and that's pretty similar to the speed that he's actually exploding up with the bar.
That's right. The faster you lift, the easier it is. It's basic physics.
So here comes the representative for Tanzania from Dar es Salaam, Abdallah, 21 years of age, 70 kilos, and this is pretty well starting on his personal best.
That's
so
right.
This is hopefully a good effort. Nice drive up.
That was a very good catch position.
That's 12 That was a good lift. 3 right legs.
Yeah, that's the key to this, isn't it? That catch position where you've got the line of gravity absolutely, it's got to be millimeter perfect, doesn't it?
It does have to be almost perfect. You could see there was very different technique between those two lifters. The second lifter wasn't as explosive, but he was very precise. So here we go. There, he throws the bar from his hips and catches very solidly under the bar.
And his arms almost, even at this bodyweight class, which is the lightest of the 8 men's classes, out almost at the extremity of the bar.
That's right, yes, he has a very wide grip.
We do have a change in lifting order. Mota will be up, but 70 kilos remains the weight, please.
I'm very surprised to see this lifter coming out at this weight after how easy the first lift was.
Yeah, this is only a couple of kilos increase here for Brito Mota. Hails from Blantyre.
Easy lift.
Mota's lift is a...
Yeah, I just hope that the coaches are going to push him a little bit on the third attempt.
That's right. A technique like that, if I saw that in a warm-up, I would be starting higher than that if I were the coach. That was quite easy.
Comes from a pretty big family, 5 girls and 4 boys. And
Mota's also calling for that weight for
this
his
man
third attempt.
relaxes with R&B music. He actually writes R&B music as well. So,
Yes, he's a singer-songwriter.
yeah.
He's moving up. We need 71 kilos, please.
It's a journey he's going to remember, given that it's the first time he's been out of his country to come here to the Commonwealth Games. Never travelled internationally.
It's quite something. He's studying to be a computer technician, IT.
Indeed.
Mota's moving up.
And you just saw the Chief Marshal's desk. We'll talk about that a little bit. That's where the coaches go to enter the next weight for their athletes.
That's right. Right now, the 2 athletes are jockeying for who's going to try the next weight and who's going to be doing the heaviest.
The clock begins at 1 minute once again.
Yeah, just to remind you that the likes of Jonathan Correa of Mauritius, 94 kilos for his opening weight posted. And also Rasak Tanimowo of Nigeria, 90 kilos. So they will be going through their warm-up at a steadier pace to time their first appearance coming out of here. And that's easier said than done.
That's right. It's very hard to plan a warm-up because you're basing it on what's happening out here on the platform, on the front. And as we saw, there was a lot of stalls with those changes the athletes just made.
So this man, Abdullah, successful at 70 kilos.
That's right. Very good catch position. He gets quite low. You can see the bar isn't traveling very fast until it gets to the hips, and then he's throwing it and kind of diving under there and getting that solid catch position.
Has to manage his weightlifting with a day job. He's an engineer who looks after cooling systems, which is a pretty responsible job in his warm part of the world.
So now the other athlete from Malawi needs to do a kilo more to go ahead of Abdullah Abdallah because he's heavier.
The timekeepers put 2 minutes on the clock. Normally an athlete has 1 minute between each leg.
Now, it may well be that Abdullah is going to follow himself, in which case he has the extra time, which you may have heard from our presentation team in the background there, has 2 minutes in which to prepare for the lift. The bar at the moment's gone to 73 kilos.
I don't think he's going to actually go at 73 kilos, but it looks like he's going to go because we hear that 30-second buzzer, and once that buzzer is gone, you can no longer change your weight.
Yeah, that's 70. He has moved up.
74 kilos, please.
So the reason he is able to move up is that he must have told the marshal before the buzzer went, and there was a little delay in getting the announcing the information.
So, in fact, it's going to be Brito Mota to come out and take 74 kilos.
Malawi, 74 kilos, third and final attempt.
So this is where he's really made the increase here. This is a 4 kilo increase So this is the significant one. This is the one where he and his coach have now decided to push. It is something that's within his compass.
It's definitely in his compass. It's just about confidence. We saw how he was lifting earlier. There's no question that he has the strength and the technique to do this lift. It's just whether he believes it.
They just straighten up the bar there.
He's looking quite confident.
20 seconds. Good explosion.
Way too easy. That should have been a first attempt.
And, you know, he had a personal best of 75, so I think they've actually been quite conservative there.
Very conservative, but maybe something happened in the warm-up. Maybe it wasn't going well. Possibly he was missing weights he doesn't miss typically.
Very good point. Because it doesn't matter what you post on a piece of paper 1 hour before, it's what happens in the warm-up room, and it isn't unusual for lifters to have a poor warm-up, but equally it's not unusual for them to have a very good warm-up, in which case they may increase their first attempt. That's
correct, and you have to think that athlete has never left his country before. The feeling of being in a warm-up room at the Commonwealth Games, that's new territory for him.
And this, for many of these athletes, like this young man in his first Commonwealth Games, is the biggest competition stage he will have ever competed on. He won't have competed with television cameras and lights and theatre. And that's why one of the first things they all do when they arrive here is to come and stand on the stage and familiarise themselves with the atmosphere.
That's right. You try to find where you're going to focus when you lift. That was very close. Very close. Missed a little bit of extension. Didn't get as tall as he needed to before going under the bar.
Yeah, it's that little bit of uncertainty or hesitation that creeps in, and that's the worst thing.
The worst thing is when the heavier the weight gets, the slower it moves, the longer it takes to get to your knees, the more time you have to think about how heavy it is and whether or not you can get yourself under that bar.
But just to say there that Abdullah on that second attempt of 72 has posted a new personal best for the snatch. So that's an improvement.
That's right. He had hoped to do 73, so just the fact that he tried 75 is quite something.
Or I should say Britomota, because it's in fact Abdullah who's going to come out for his third attempt, and he's got 75 on, or posting 75.
So right now they're focusing on the athlete from Cameroon.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it was Abdullah who did the 75. There's a lot of confusion on the scoreboard, but they've now corrected that.
Yeah, now we're calling out the athlete from Cameroon at 77 kilos.
Well, what can you say about Paul Ndika Matam? What you can say is that he's in his mid-20s. That he's part of a dynasty, isn't he?
That's right. 24 children in his family. 24. Number 22.
11 of them who've competed in weightlifting. 5 of them actually for France as well. But his dad, David, is the technical director for the team.
He was also a lifter himself.
And 77 kilos. I would think this should be straightforward. As long as the technique is perfect, this is not a weight that should trouble him.
No. I think this will be quite easy. It doesn't get much easier than that.
Move the bar on that 30-second buzzer. That buzzer you hear in the background tells the athlete that he's got 30 seconds in which to achieve the lift.
That's right, and he lifted right in the middle of the buzzer, which can throw some athletes off. Usually athletes will wait for that 30-second buzzer to go and then lift right after.
And then drives up there. There's the leg strength coming in.
That's right, and amazing range of motion. Did you see how low he got? That was quite something to see. that deep of a squat in the snatch. Here we go. See, through from the hips and boom, right under the bar. He moves the bar fast and he moves himself fast under the bar as well.
Yeah, you can see by the facial expression there the confidence that he has. And you would expect that at this stage.
I think that we're going to see, yes, 5 kilo jump, no question. So here he is going for 5 kilos more. Following himself, but I don't think that fatigued him too much, so I doubt that we'll see him use the full 2 minutes.
Loaders, we need more weight. Please stop the clock. The clock will resume once we've loaded 82 kilos onto the bar. The athlete remains Paul and Nikamata.
So same lifter at the moment, 82 kilos would be the next weight. And of course that would represent a 5 kilo increase.
Yeah, so 5 kilo increase is a confident move when you go from first to second attempt. We don't often see anything larger than a 5 kilo increase from the first to the second snatch.
Owala, still the on-deck athlete.
So he's coming out here very confident.
His sister, Helene, is also competing in the competitions here. You'll see her a little later in the weightlifting week.
That's right. Of the 11 siblings that have lifted, 2 are female and 9 male. So he's really taking time to get a solid grip. The bar is quite large in diameter for the smaller lifters to hold on to. Easy, easy lift.
And as you saw him addressing the bar, locking on the, you could see how he closed his eyes, put himself in the zone, combined the physical and the mental.
That's right. It's entirely mental when you're coming out to do these heavy lifts. It doesn't matter how much you've trained, you have to believe you can do it, and you have to be able to do it under pressure when everyone's watching.
So he's still able to push himself here, which is what we want to see.
Yes, I believe he's going to go for another big jump. Maybe 3 kilos, 3 to 5 kilos.
We need more weight. Loaders, can we have 85 kilos, please? 85.
But he's going to have time to prepare because we're just about to announce the first appearance of the 17-year-old from Papua New Guinea. It's Paul Coffer, the man who masterminds Oceania on the left of the picture. What a job he's done in the last decade to put Oceanic lifter, all those islands, Samoa, Nui. You're going to hear all of them throughout the week. And he's done a tremendous job. He is the passion. He is the driving force of Oceania.
Yeah, I can't say enough about Paul Coffer. He's done so much for our sport. And if you just watched the opening ceremonies last night, you can see how many lifters were flag bearers from the Oceania countries.
So here is Fred Owala. His coach is his dad, Lakani. Might catch him in the wings. At the moment, he's being a bit shy and holding back. So
he's very aggressive in his approach to the bar. I like this. So just a couple centimeters too far back. He doesn't seem to be too concerned.
Be interesting to see that from the side.
That's right.
This is show us. And you see that momentum in the bar taking it back.
That's right. It's very hard to control. Yeah, basically you have to have controlled aggression, which is hypocrisy in terms, right? So here we go. He did an awesome throw from the hips, just a little too much of a swing, and that's why he missed it behind. But I have to say, there's nothing like getting that first attempt out of the way in a competition, because the next time you come out to that platform, you know what it's going to feel like, you know what to expect. So I suspect he's going to come out and do this solid.
Now, it looks to me as if he's going to follow himself here because I don't think anybody else wants 85 kilos. So it gives us an opportunity. There you can see coaching team. There's his dad, former cricketer, right-hand opening batsman, actually very proud of the being a member of the team that once beat the mighty Victoria, national champions in Australia at the sport. But
there's quite a history of sport in Papua New Guinea. It's quite impressive when you hear them talking. They're from a town that translates to the big village.
yeah, what do they call? They call Papua New Guinea the land of the unexpected.
Diversity is the theme, right? 800 languages from 700 tribes.
Yeah. And
So here he comes. He's looking ready for this.
yeah, this is pretty crucial now.
Yes. You don't want to be in the position that you've missed 2 lifts, because if it comes down to your third and you miss it, you're out of the competition.
So chalk it up or putting the magnesium on just to get that really good grip.
That's right. It's part of the ritual as well. Go into the chalk bin.
You can see the time he has left and with his right eye. Oh. And basically the same error.
That's right.
No lift for the second attempt.
This takes a lot of mental strength to come back from missing 2 lifts and to come when all of it, it's all on the wire with that third lift. If he's not able to be successful with 85, he doesn't get to do the clean and jerk either. He's out of the competition immediately.
Yeah, this is one of the cruelties like the Olympic Games. Basically, there's only 1 medal at stake these days.
That's right.
After the Manchester Commonwealth Games of 2002, in which there were medals for the snatch discipline, the clean and jerk, and the total, the Commonwealth Games actually lost that opportunity to have 3 medals, and there's only 1. So that, unlike those days in Manchester, where you could, if you missed out on 1 discipline, you could still make something. Now it's all or nothing, as it is in the Olympic Games.
That's right. And it's a lot of pressure because some athletes do have a specialty and do excel at either the snatch or clean and jerk. So when you no longer have that opportunity to prove yourself and win a medal in one of them, it adds a lot of pressure.
So
he's using some smelling salts right now. Getting some words of encouragement from Paul Koffa. He's not yet at the Oceania Training Center with the rest of the athletes from his country because he's still in high school.
yeah, so this 85, he actually, in May of this year at the Junior Oceania Championships, he actually did achieve 84 kilos on the platform. So this is just a kilo more. So you sort of know that he can do this. But now this is where everyone in the auditorium needs to be on his side.
That's right.
Let's all get with him.
We really want to get behind him for this.
Come on, come on.
There we go. That was great. Again, I think it was a little far behind and he really had to fight to keep a hold of that bar.
And then that big sigh of relief.
That is a weight off. That would have been a really hard pill to swallow, missing 3 snatches and being out of the competition and staying here in the village for another week. Not easy to do.
Now he can focus on the clean and jerk. He knows that he can go for a total.
That's right. He's got to shake off that lift and carry on with the competition, focus on doing 3 good lifts in the clean and jerk.
Very pleased for him.
I'm very pleased for him. You could see that he has a very hyperextensive elbow there, so that's probably why he gets himself in that position that the bar goes back a little further than comfortable.
Yeah, good reaction there. Only 17, so not very experienced. But, you know, he's looking at maybe better things and greater things in years to come, because even this competition, this is actually also a competition which is a qualification for the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio. You have to actually participate in 2 qualifying competitions, and what you're trying to do is to finish as high as you can in the ranking. The higher you finish, the more points you get. The more points you get leads you to earning a place for your team, and it is your team. It may not be you, but it's your team. So it's an important step here which has been introduced at these Commonwealth Games. So lots of different meanings to participation.
That's right. There's so many different meanings, and I think that that young athlete can walk away being really proud of himself, having come back from a very tough position, and that really bodes well for his future in the sport.
Final attempt of Paul Ndika of Cameroon. 85 kilos, please.
So it's quite a weight for Paul. He had 3 attempts with 2 minutes in between, so I didn't see him do any lifts in the back. I'm not sure what to expect with this.
Well, he comes in here, he weighs 54 kilos 85, that's what he weighed in. So actually he's lighter than the young man that you just saw from Papua New Guinea. So at 85 kilos, if he lifts this, he actually, for the moment, goes into first place in this division.
That's right. He's definitely strong enough. The question is he still in the zone after that weight?
He can do this.
Bit of a struggle. You can see he took a bit longer in the starting position. He seemed to be maybe doubting himself a little bit. Maybe it was that weight that he had from those lifts from the previous athlete.
Let's go to 90 kilos.
Yeah, maybe those extra minutes out the back there actually led to more uncertainty as opposed to having the momentum of just moving on with the lifts.
That's right. It is a numbers game, and it's very easy to start fearing numbers. We know that a kilo isn't a huge difference, but it can be the straw that breaks the donkey's back.
The first time we'll see Lou Gagnares.
So Lou Gagnares from New Zealand, member of the NetFit Club, coached by Tina Bell, who you may see in the wings. Very positive walk on to the stage here to open up at 90 kilos. And this is about 5 kilos short of his personal best on a platform. So again, I think this is an interesting starting point now, because he needs to be thinking about the other men in the competition, or at least his coaches do.
That's right. Hopefully the coaches are doing all of those calculations for him, and all he has to do is come out here and lift the weight he knows how to lift.
Nice explosive start, keep the feet together.
That was a very good start.
He's the first of 12 Kiwi lifters, led by team captain Richard Patterson, who was an a Commonwealth Games silver medalist in Delhi. Kiwis with a really good team.
That's right, he did compete in London and Beijing as well.
So he's looking to really improve on his 7th place in Delhi when he totaled up 216, and he did 94 kilos in the first opening discipline, this explosive snatch phase, and that's good lifting.
That was great lifting. I think he's going to go to 95 to equal his best on his next attempt, unless they have other plans for strategy and to surpass the other athletes in the weight class.
He and his brother Ian actually born in the Philippines, but home is Auckland now for them.
That's right, and they're both on the team here in Glasgow.
Tina.
That's right. They're the first brother or sibling pair ever to compete at this level for Team New Zealand in weightlifting.
So Tina just going through the plan. They will have chatted about this.
That's right. This is what's interesting about our sport, is you know the results going in. You know what you're capable of going in. So definitely you have these numbers that you get attached to in training. You've been repeating them in your head over and over. Maybe you have them written on your bathroom mirror. You know, you got these numbers you want to do, and it's just a question of whether you'll get to the way the competition plays out.
And Gina, you talked about when an athlete comes here and they go on the stage to familiarize themselves with the environment. And you talked about picking a point to focus on. So when Lou comes out, just to explain that a little bit.
Okay. Well, the way I personally did it is I would come out before the competition started, have a look around and kind of plot out where I was going to walk, what I was going to do. Like, am I going to walk across to the chalk bin, or am I going to put chalk on in the back, because I don't want to waste those seconds. So he has his routine where you see he's putting on his wrist wraps, getting them as tight as possible, getting his chalk on, not making eye contact with the audience right now, just really looking at that weight. So it's very important to have a focal point when you're lifting, because it really affects your balance. So sometimes you'll go into an auditorium and there isn't anywhere to look, and you can see that will throw a lifter off. But he seems to be looking up to the stands right in the center.
That bar was in front of him.
Just a little bit in front. Missed a little bit of extension.
93 kilos. Loaders tighten the collars. 93 kilos.
These are the common problems, particularly in this discipline, losing it behind or just not actually pulling up high
That's
enough.
right, kicking it forward. So this is the thing. You want to get the bar, you want to get under the bar as fast as possible. So he went under the bar a little too quickly because he hadn't finished his full extension before going under. So you want to get as high as you can before getting as low as you can, and it's hard to finish one before you start the other.
And here comes the interesting point, because he's gone 90 to 93. Now, we're pretty certain that he would have been going for at least 95 on his third attempt. Now, he could put the bar up to 95 if he was really confident and said, okay, I know what I did wrong. I'm not worried about the strength. I'm going to go for 95. Or he stays on 93 and plays it slightly safe, but then, of course, that puts more pressure on him for the second half of the competition when he's going to be playing catch-up.
That's correct. Some people are very motivated by doing gutsy moves like that and saying, you know, I failed, but I'm going to put 2 kilos more on and I'm going to do it. Others get discouraged by missing a lift and have a hard time even repeating the same weight. He seems to be ready for this, though. He's smiling. That's a great sign.
Now, he's done this. This is a weight that he can do.
Yeah.
This is all about technique.
That's right. He's coming out here a little more comfortable, it looks like.
The youngest Kiwi lifter back in Delhi, now 24 years of age. So,
I believe he's going to get this one. He looks like he's in the right mindset.
Let's get back on track here.
Yeah, he needs this to stay in the game and have a positive competition. I thought he had that one, and it looks like he thought he had it too.
So I have to say, unfortunately, that is a bit of a setback because that leaves him on the 90 kilos, and that just puts the pressure on in the clean and jerk. Of course, the clean and jerk, you can lift the bigger weights. The whole discipline is more forgiving, so he's not out of it. He can catch up, but that is a setback.
It is hard to keep your composure after you've only got one of your lifts. You have to forgive yourself and move on with the rest of the competition.
Up next.
So the man from Mauritius, Jonathan Corday, coming out at 95 kilos, which was his announced first attempt. So we can take it from that the warm-up has gone pretty well. And Jonathan, well, his personal best is over 100 kilos. So again,
This
should be well within him.
He is wearing a belt for the snatch, which is not so common, so I'm wondering if he has a back injury.
That was a bit untidy.
The timing wasn't great, but he may have had some challenges in his warm-up with the way the competition rolled out on the platform for the other lifters. He had to wait a lot longer than anticipated.
There's his coach, Ravi Bola, himself a Commonwealth Games athlete, both in Manchester and again 4 years ago in Delhi.
He also competed in Beijing at the Olympics.
Nigeria, up next.
One of the challenges for athletes from this country is they don't have a lot of funding to get out of their country and compete. So despite having competed at the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, Ravi had never had the chance to compete at the World Championships.
He works in the textile industry, he tells me.
So Jonathan out pretty quickly here.
Very quickly.
I mean, he could have taken the whole of 2 minutes, but he and the coach want to maintain the momentum. The coach crouches down in the wings.
Yes, he wants to get out here and correct what just happened.
Well, that's the other mistake.
That's right, the overcorrection.
Yeah, that is actually not uncommon.
No, it's very common. It's very common that you miss in front and then miss in back, or vice versa. And hopefully this means the third lift will be in that sweet spot just right.
Yeah, and again, here we need to, and everybody in the auditorium here in the Clyde Auditorium needs to get behind the lifter.
Corey misses this attempt, he's going to be out of the competition.
That's right. This is the scariest feeling there is, coming out for your third lift, knowing that you need to do this to stay in the game.
There's been a change. Corey is moving up.
So this is what we were talking about. This athlete has decided he wants to be gutsy and go for a bold move up despite having missed that weight.
Yeah, and 95 kilos is something that he did last year in Port Louis, in Mauritius, in his home country, and maybe also taking advantage of the fact that he needed actually a little bit more time. Maybe they rushed that second attempt. It didn't work.
That's right, and it's nice to have somebody cut your attempts. It doesn't feel good to go out on the platform and do 3 lifts in a row. It is a nice thing to have an athlete come in and give you some time off the platform, out of the spotlight.
Now this is really interesting because this man
Was last night's flag bearer, was he not?
Yeah, it was Tanimowo Rasak for Nigeria. Now he's moved up. He posted 90 kilos as his opener. That was on a piece of paper about 45 minutes ago. Now he's moved up to 95 for his opener. So that's a confident move here by the Nigerian.
Very confident.
Head coach Emmanuel Oshoma in the wings, watching him.
Very explosive lift. No surprise that he's got a lot of speed there, because he used to be a sprinter, a 100-meter sprinter, but didn't have the height to go too far in that sport.
Yeah, and they're delighted with that really good start there. And this is a man who tunes himself up with a little gospel music before he gets out onto
That's
the
right.
stage.
I've never heard of that before. I find it quite interesting that get in the zone with the gospel.
Jonathan Corey must make this to stay in the competition.
Just one little footnote on the Nigerians from 4 years ago. They were the top nation in terms of gold medals, but 6 of their gold medals actually came from the powerlifting side. So you have to balance that out. They're good, but will they actually end up as being the top nation? We'll have to wait and see.
I'm really happy to see that the crowd here understands just how important that this lift is for Jonathan.
95. Third attempt. Make or break. Come on. Make up. Oh, he was so close.
That was a great fight, but I don't think they would have given it to him, even if he stood up with it, because his arm was bent.
So we'll have a look at for this press out here.
96 kilos on the bar, please. 96 kilos.
And now he has to go talk to the press. That's tough.
Tanimowo made at 95. He's requesting 96.
Yeah, you can see on that left arm there.
That's right.
Tanimowo.
The arms must go straight, lock out.
It's very hard to hold it if you're not in a lockout anyway, but just a fraction of a centimeter and more with that lockout and he would have been fine.
It's a continual subject, isn't it, of chatter amongst the sport, whether, you know, press out should be allowed, because actually if you press out and then you have to drive up again, it's even harder to lock the arms out.
It is even harder, but I think that most of the rules in the International Weightlifting Federation are based off of safety, and if we would allow for press out, it could open a whole can of worms of safety issues.
Good point.
As he is the final athlete remaining in the snatch, he will be following himself.
So we have just one man effectively left in the competition, representing Nigeria, and at the moment the bar up a couple of kilos. They've got 2 attempts to play with. Now this is really important here, because this man has the opportunity to lead this competition at halfway, and of course later on this evening we have the A final. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of total he posts in relation to the totals proposed by the athletes who'll go for medals.
That's right. I think he's going to fare pretty well here. And I don't know why he went to 97. That was just way too easy. 2 kilo jump when it's going up that easily is... He must just be trying to get every kilo he can in the snatch so that he can blow everyone out of the water in the clean and jerk. I'm not sure.
So he'll follow himself.
I'm really hoping he'll go for at least 100 kilos. It's always nice to see the first time the bar gets to 100 kilos in a competition like this.
This is a man who's been in the sport on a serious basis for 6 years. Home for him is Lagos, although he comes originally from Ogun State. But we were chatting to him earlier on, and he was in a very chirpy mood.
Yes, he's in great spirits. He has a great attitude. He's really happy to be here at these games, and I mean, I'm sure that being the flag bearer last night must have been a great experience. I'm pretty impressed that he's moving at this speed today after having been up that late carrying the nation's flag.
Yeah, what was your high point of the ceremony last night?
I got to sit in the same area as the Queen and watch Rod Stewart. I don't know if it gets much better than that.
I'll tell you what I really loved early on were the performances to 500 miles by the 2 young artists from the Scottish Ballet. I thought that was beautiful.
Good display of athleticism.
And the other thing was, how happy did the Queen look to be there amongst the family of the Commonwealth?
Yeah, that was amazing.
She really, you could see the enjoyment on her face. It's great.
Oh, he's going for 100. This is great. So I'm suspecting this will be just as easy as the other 2 lifts. So they're asking him to stop. He's very confused, but they're asking him to stop because 100 kilos is not, in fact, loaded on the bar.
97 has been called. 97 is on the bar. He has called 100. Let's move up. Stop the clock. We're going to 100
So
kilos,
this is a bit of an error that something happened in the back there. They asked for 100 kilos before the 30 seconds were up, but there was a miscommunication between the marshalling area and the front. So that's why the weight wasn't changed to 100 kilos.
Yeah, because the second attempt at 97 was
done. Yeah.
Was cancelled.
Oh, he didn't get it. It was reversed.
It was reversed. Because he went 95, 97, didn't get 97.
I was all caught up in talking about Rod Stewart and missed that the 97 was reversed.
Yeah. So at the moment he's sitting on 95 kilos. Now that still has him in first place.
Hopefully he can come back from that distraction and make this 100.
He has the best part of a minute, so time is not an issue. And maybe all of that has got into his head.
It's very hard when you go out to do a lift, you're in the zone, you're ready to lift, and someone tells you stop. It's a hard thing to turn off all of that energy and refocus it again minutes later.
We'll be back in 10 minutes with more lifting here.
So that means that the Nigerian still leads the class with 95 kilos in first place at the halfway stage. Guignares with 90 kilos up there in second, although he only made 1 out of 3 as well. And generally at these major competitions, I'll just pause there. You can just see he had to let go, otherwise his right elbow could have been in jeopardy.
Yeah, elbow dislocation is not a pleasant thing to see or feel.
But of course, all things can change because the clean and jerk.
So there you have the ranking. Nigeria ahead of New Zealand by 5. They're quite spread out there, and poor old Jonathan Correa, feel for him, didn't make any of his 3, and it really just takes him straight out of the competition. Now the boys are now backstage in the warm-up room, and they're beginning to go through, some of them have already started to go through the clean and jerk. So a chance, Jeannie, maybe to talk about this second discipline and how you train for the 2-phase lift.
So the clean and jerk is more strength-based than the snatch, so a little less technical. Like you said earlier, there's a lot more room for error. So I like to think of it as you just come out onto the platform and you go kamikaze and you try to put everything you have into the lift. So again, these athletes are doing from 8 to 10 warm-ups, and depending on where they finished in the snatch, they may already be almost finished their clean and jerk warm-up. Here we see the athlete from Malawi, who's probably first out on the clean and jerk, and he's already at 40 kilos.
Some countries are better off financially than others, and that happens in all sports. And the Nigerians have got a full team of coaches, so they're much more equipped to look at what else is going on. The interesting thing about perhaps the Nigerian lifter is to recognize that the total that he actually posted was, just having a look at the Nigerian, was 210. When I look at the A group who are going to compete in the evening session here, you can see that actually the lowest enter total is 235. So the way that this is unfolding now is that the medals will get decided in the later session. But what we're looking at now is for these men, those who remain in here, to try and get a new personal best.
That's right. There's lots of different goals to competing. You know, there's only 3 medals to be had, so we can't only focus on medal winning. Personal bests, national records, those are the kind of things people come to the games to achieve as well.
Yeah, and it is that one gold medal. Gold, a silver, and a bronze. That's it. Nothing else.
That's right. There's a lot more people that walk away with no medals than those who do. So you really have to find a whole host of different goals to have when you come to a competition.
You can see very generous warm-up platforms in terms of size here. So
Yes.
really comfortable in that. That's good simulation for competition. Nice ceiling height, plenty of air, plenty of space around you.
Yes, I really like this venue, and I feel that the auditorium itself is quite intimate. It feels like there's a big crowd, and they're right there supporting you. Sometimes you go into competition sites and they're empty and huge, and it's cold, and this is amazing. I'm really happy with what they've done here in Glasgow.
Yeah, the weather's been amazing. I guess many of you will have caught on to the fact that Glasgow has been full of sunshine, temperatures up to 28 Celsius, and today I have to say it was a bit grey and overcast when we came in early in the morning, but I understand outside the sun has made an appearance and just building up really nicely. This is a huge day of competition. Triathlon gets underway, swimming, cycling, a lot of activity out of here. But traditionally, weightlifting is the first gold medal to be decided, and it'll be the women in the 48 kilo this afternoon that we'll be looking forward to. We hope you have your company. I know that, of course, for us here, at the moment, the clock is just ticking towards 11 o'clock in the morning. For many of you down under, I know it's late at night into the early hours, so thank you for being with us, thank you for watching, and we look forward to your company right the way through the 10 days of these championships. There you can see that little bar on the front there. That protects the central referee in case somebody drops the bar and 100 or so kilos come rolling towards them.
That's right. In case the bar gets dropped on the edge of the platform and gets launched forward, that bar is there. We have seen it several times in the past.
For some trivia questions. Now, this is pretty big in the pubs in Glasgow.
Now, the voice you're hearing there, Lynn,
I'll be pretty sharp on this.
part of our presentation team there, just coming up with some interesting
you can read this, I'm sure.
entertainment for the audience here in the 10-minute interval.
But which year was Iron Brew first introduced? Was it 1890? Put your hands up if you think it was.
Iron Brew, of course, being the
1901.
drink, the fizzy drink that's popular up here.
That's right. And what does it taste like?
1929.
Pine needles?
Hooray!
I'm not a great Iron Brew fan, so I can't even remember what it tastes like.
1901, you guys won it. Okay, next question. on the Glasgow Monopoly board.
So the competitors backstage now will be well into this. We've just got under 4 minutes to go before we get underway. So if it's that early morning cup of coffee that you're after, or you need something stronger to keep you up in the early hours of the morning, you've got 3 minutes and 45 seconds to whiz into the kitchen to collect your drink of choice.
So we have two athletes starting at the same weight, so this could be a bit more interesting jockeying going on here in the snatch, or in the clean and jerk than in the snatch, sorry.
Okay, last one. Glasgow will be the host city for which Games Sport World Championships in 2015? That's only next year.
Back into the back room there, you can see that
Gymnastics.
20 kilo bar absolutely empty. And
Badminton.
here comes the beginning of this young man's warm-up phase.
He doesn't have a lot of time. He's possibly lifting in 3 minutes from now at 85 kilos, so
It's gymnastics.
he's going to have to move quickly.
And no collars, just to keep the thing moving along so they can change the weights. First phase. And you saw the adjustment of the hands there, just moving them out, Gina.
That's right. So this is a personal preference. Every athlete has their own preference. So when you go from the clean to the jerk, you can widen your grip in order to have less of a distance to push the bar overhead. So this lifter here, despite his size, has quite a wide grip. You'll see that a lot of 105 kilo athletes or 105 plus have that same width of grip.
Now, I'm sure during the championships, we're also going to see differences in technique. Here we're seeing athletes who are actually going to clean and jerk by using the split. But, of course, we're going to meet the power jerk and one or two other ways of...
That's right, the power jerk or the squat jerk. The split jerk is a bit more stable again, as we spoke about before. It's more forgiving. So if the bar isn't quite centered over your center of gravity, you can, shift forward or back because you have that split stance. But when you do a power jerk or a squat jerk, it's just like the snatch all over again. You have to have it right in the perfect position.
And when you're doing this, feet really important, because if you get too much on your toes, you're going to be in trouble.
That's right. So whenever you're lifting, you want to make sure you're using your whole foot as a point of stability. So you have to distribute that weight equally throughout your whole foot. And yeah, there's so much technique involved. It doesn't look like it because these athletes are very efficient and have trained for years, so they make it look easy, but it's not much that's easy about it.
So about a minute to go, and for those of you who may be just joining us now, this is the state of play at halfway. Nigeria, Rasak Tanimowo, who's in the lead by 5 kilos. Lou Guignares of New Zealand. Both of the first two actually only making 1 out of 3, but nonetheless good enough to keep them in the top 2 positions. Oala, the youngster from Papua New Guinea, as you can see now, 10 kilos off the lead. All of these men probably out of medal range, but now looking to produce their best ever Commonwealth Games result, or personal best ever.
That's right. There's nothing that feels as good as leaving a competition with a personal best. Of course, if you get a medal on your way to that personal best, that's a little more fun, but personal bests are the best you can ask for ever.
Poor Jonathan Correa there at the bottom, having failed his 3 attempts. Now a spectator, but I'm pretty sure he won't be watching this. Head will be in his hands.
That's right. I don't think he'll be joining the audience to cheer for the competitors. He's probably heading back to the village or maybe going back to that athlete rest area to digest.
And these guys have traveled a long way. When you have success, it's not so bad going back on the plane, but when it's not worked out, it's a horrible home journey.
It is. It's a lot to take.
So here we go with part 2 of the men's 56 kilo B division, as it's called. And this is Brito Mota coming in.
It looks like he just did 50 kilos in his warm-up previous to this bar, so I'm curious to see how this feels for him.
Now he's bringing forward 74 kilos from the first phase, and so far 3 out of 3. And
it's quite an easy clean. And his elbows are not quite locked out there. I'm not sure he's going to get all white lights for that. Ooh, 2 white lights. He was left.
To the one, and
2 white lights, 1 red light. That is a good lift for Mota.
So he's going to need to be a bit more stable on his next jerk in order to be successful.
I agree with the right arm, but he gets that, and as a result of that, he gets a total 159.
From Tanzania, 85 kilos. Mota.
So if we watch the lift again, we watch his shoulders were also not super stable, so this is something you can easily rectify on the next lift. It is hard doing that first lift, you know, a bit more nerves in play than on the second lift, so hopefully that will help him out, being calm and having a total already.
So the man that represents Tanzania in this competition, Abdallah. 2 good lifts, brings forward 72 kilos.
That's a very solid jerk.
They're strong enough overhead.
Abdallah. 85 kilos is a good lift on his first attempt.
I think Abdallah is going to be able to jerk anything that he's able to clean. So the question for him is just how much can he clean today?
So 157, so he's 2 kilos behind Mota of Malawi at the moment. When you get the first one in, it just gives you that little bit of confidence.
That's
and
right.
Quite often the execution of the second attempt is better, it's more economical, there's more fluency, it's better connected.
That's right. There is a big relief that comes with getting a total. And then those 2 last lifts, you can just, you know, go for it. Get as much as possible on the bar.
Yeah, now there you could see interesting power jerk probably going to come. We'll see what happens a little later there. Now the bar going up to 88 kilos, and it's going to change again.
Moving up, loaders 88 kilos on the bar, please. 88. The lifter remains the same, the weight changes.
So Abdullah going for a 3 kilo increase. He's a couple of kilos short of his personal best here now. And in terms of his total, 157, he's 3 kilos short, only 3 kilos short of equaling up his personal best total. So he's, you know, he entered 160. He's very close to that entry total. I'd love to see him in the next 2 attempts maybe get 2 or 3 kilos more. If he goes away with 163, good competition.
That's right. So here in the clean, we just want to see that he catches it high and solid, because he did get buried a little bit, get driven to the bottom of his squat position by this weight. That was better clean than his last one. And as I said, I think he can jerk anything he cleans. Yeah. That was very solid. No hesitation.
And 3 red lights. So they're not happy with the arms there.
We're staying at 88, please, loaders.
So need to have a look at this again.
That's the weight requested for the 3rd and final attempt.
Now,
of Tanzania.
not the best of angles to see the press outs, if it is press outs. Gets the clean reasonably economically.
Mota, next time.
Now, ooh, difficult to tell on that left arm.
Yeah.
From that angle. You need to see it from the front.
That's right.
Let's look at the left
I definitely
arm.
would have given him white from my angle,
He's
but
22 years old, and he holds the
white lights.
national record on this lift.
Abdullah's moving up, so we're going to Mota now. Mota's requested.
Oh, that angle we can see there was
Yeah.
a press out.
Second
Yes.
attempt. Abdullah moves
So
to the
that's a setback for him.
It's a setback, but he is doing the gutsy move and going for a heavier weight regardless of the red lights.
And I think that's because the amount of energy he's got left in his body, and it's now or never.
That's right. He's got nothing to lose. He has a total, and he might as well go for a...
And he's got the advantage now because Mota is going to come out for his second attempt. Remember, he opened up on 85 as well. So he's going for a 5 kilo increase. At the moment, he's the early leader of this particular competition with a total of 159.
That's a very easy clean. So let's hope for a more solid jerk than the past.
Oh, no.
That's unfortunate. Very easy clean. Needs to take a bit more time before setting for the jerk and executing.
Now, of course, he'll take his third attempt. So, interesting to see. Now, Abdullah must surely come out for his attempt. You would think, unless Abdullah, where's Abdullah going to push this bar to?
92 he's got listed on the scoreboard.
So that would be a 5 kilo increase, and that would take him to the 163 I was looking for.
Yeah, I think he would be very pleased with that. So Brito Mota said that he first got involved in weightlifting because through bodybuilding he had wanted to do something that showed that he was powerful and strong, and eventually it led him to Olympic weightlifting.
As Mota's lifts are consecutive, he has 2 minutes in which to
that's very interesting, isn't it? Amongst lifters, there is that fantastic feeling of being, powerful.
That's right. I think powerful, even more so, is the right word, more so than strong, because it really is about explosive power, and it's not about just grinding things out. It's about being, throwing things around, really.
And it's also, of course, the sport of weightlifting is such a core sport. It's a core sport of the Commonwealth Games, core sport of the Olympic Games, but actually it's a discipline which is actually part of the whole family of Olympics, whether you're a rower, a canoeist, a gymnast, or whatever. You do it in a different way, but
That's
weightlifting is part of your regime.
Helps to be a better athlete.
Here we go.
That's a very good clean. All right. He's got to take his time now. You can see that one elbow is higher than the other. That really doesn't help him with his balance in the jerk. And yet he managed to pull it off.
Feet still. I think I'd give him that.
Yes, that was very gutsy. He can definitely go back home happy with that lift and happy with his performance.
He finishes with 164 kilos.
So 164. Just to put that into context, his personal best is 170. So in a sense, he's not reached those marks, and those failures of setting back.
You have to think how traveling from Africa and coming all this way and competing in a high-pressure atmosphere like this, it's very different than lifting in your own backyard.
But I hope his dad, who's John, who's a tanker driver, and his mum, Gladys, who's a school teacher, I hope they're proud of him.
They should be. He did awesome.
So, here we go. This is the high-stakes poker. I love this when the cards go down. It's a chess game, but it's also a poker game.
That's
now,
right.
He's laid 5 kilos on the line here to go.
This is
163.
going to be a hard clean.
This is for a new personal best. Let's drive up for the clean. No, he couldn't. He didn't have the strength to drive up.
That's right. He got buried by it. So he pulled it as high as he could, shot under the bar, but he wasn't able to catch that rebound of the hamstrings hitting the calves and get out of that squat position.
But full marks for his courage. We haven't talked about courage, Ginny, yet, but courage is important. You have this weight, and you've now got to put your head underneath it.
Yeah, it is scary. There's no question about it. When you get to these heavy weights, if you don't do it right, you can get driven to the ground, with the weight on top of you. So there is an element of fear, but I believe that's what makes you lift heavy, right? It's fight or flight. So you got to get in that perfect balance of fear and courage and just go after these heavy weights.
But it is, you have to be courageous to, we're going to see some real big weights. And you have to have the guts and the courage to put that above your head and actually go under the bar.
No question. No question. I mean, all of these athletes here have talent and have trained hard, but it's a question of who can convince their mind to try these crazy, crazy numbers.
Now, this should be, well, the clock has stopped. And Dikamatam, Paul Dikamatam in picture, the bar has gone to 110 kilos.
The athlete will still be Dikamatam.
And very similarly, he posted 100 kilos for his opener. He's moved it up to 110. So really interesting. Now he's trying to make up for the 3 kilos that he missed out on in the last attempt of the snatch discipline. So he's 3 kilos away from where he wants to be, and he wants to try and get back on track right with this first attempt.
That's right. He wants a really solid start. I believe he said his best clean and jerk was 125.
Yep, absolutely.
So 125. This should be a pretty simple lift for him, and I suspect he's going to go for a big jump on his second attempt.
This man representing Cameroon, number 22 of 24 in his big family. And really good noise and support here for him.
He's forgot his warm-up t-shirt on, but it doesn't seem to be a problem for anybody.
He's got 20 seconds, so he needs to really get focused on this. Clock counting down, coming to 10 seconds, locking on. He's just noticed that he's got 9 seconds. Has to move the bar. Now, watch this second phase. Squat jerk.
That takes a lot of balance. As I said before, there is no margin of error in the squat jerk. You have to have the bar exactly where it needs to be, or you're not holding on to it.
So, what is the benefit then of taking the risk with the squat jerk as opposed to the split?
Well, I've heard a lot of different reasons for this. I think one of the best reasons I've heard is you just need to drop under the bar. So you don't have to worry about the drive. You don't have to worry about where your feet are if those are challenges for you. You just have to have the strength to basically clean the weight all over again by standing up from the squat position with the bar overhead.
So that 110 added, just looking to Dika, so that's a 192 total.
That's right. It puts him well in advance of the second athlete in this category.
He's now 2 kilos ahead of his entry total. Fred Ouala, also on 110.
This is great technique. That is a very solid jerk. I would say that's the most solid jerk we've seen all day.
He's happy the judges are happy to lift 110 kilos.
And he's coming as planned there on his opening 110.
He can definitely walk away today with 4 solid lifts. He can get 2 clean and jerks and be very pleased with his comeback.
Puts him into the overall lead, 195. He's 3 kilos ahead. Representing Papua New Guinea, he's ahead of the Cameroon's lifter. But remember, we still have lifters like Tanimowo Razak of Nigeria to start his campaign. Remember, he was leading at the halfway stage.
That's right. Very explosive lifter. It's going to be hard to catch him.
But this is the fight that we were looking forward to now.
That's right. We've got ourselves a really good competition all of a sudden.
You know, if you're not in the A group, you want to win the B group.
That's right. You want to be in front of as many athletes as you can. You know, you got your personal best on the line, but you also want to chase that ranking and get the highest ranking you can.
So, Lou Guignares, only 1 out of 3 in the first part for this popular New Zealander, and he comes out to take his first attempt on 113.
So he's a preschool teacher. I wonder how many of his students are watching back home.
Well, they're all under 5.
Well, they can still appreciate a good lift. Very solid clean. That's a good jerk. That's a great start to his competition for the clean and jerk.
Yeah, now let's hope he builds on this, because it was the second and third attempts which caught him out. And so 203, and Lou, well, he was looking for 221 as his entry total. He's got some work to do now. Don't think he's going to do that. He's just got to focus on trying to lay down the biggest total he can.
That's right. That's what happens. You know, you every day. I had a coach that said it can't be Christmas every day. So it's not that you get to do personal best all the time, but you got to do the most with what you've got on that day. So that's what he's going to do today.
He's moving up. Loaders 115 kilos.
5 kilos going on the bar to 115 for the second attempt of Fred Owala. In picture, coming out here momentarily, Papua New Guinea. Paul Coffer just behind him there. And then behind Paul Coffer is...
Dika Tua.
That's his dad, isn't it? Is right behind him.
That's right. There's Fred's father, but also another athlete, Dika Tua.
The athlete from Papua New Guinea, Fred Owala, his second attempt in the clean and jerk.
He's the youngest of the class here today at just 17.
Yes, he has a great future ahead of him.
Had a difficult start. 2 attempts failed at 85 kilos in the snatch, but the third one was good, kept him alive. So he's going for a total here of 195.
It's a great technique, very efficient full extension in the pull. Very solid jerk.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Spoke too soon. I've jinxed him. I'm
A great struggle.
Yeah.
surprised by that. He had a very great drive, good lockout.
But what happened was that he lost that center of gravity,
That's
started to wobble, couldn't keep the bar on the platform. But they all know, Team Owala,
115 kilos.
they know that he can do this.
Papua New Guinea.
But it's now down to his last bit of energy, his
That's
last
right.
bit of petrol.
Idika Matam, Cameroon.
That's right. I wouldn't be surprised if they put 1 more kilo on the bar just to give him some more time.
He's got a total. But as you can see there, you can't go walkabout with these weights.
No, it seems that he jumped a little bit to the left when he was jerking.
If Fred Owala is successful with this 150,
You can helicopter, that's not a problem, as long as you finish correctly, feet are in line and they're still.
That's right. You can do a complete, turnaround. You can be back to the referees as long as your feet are in line and you're stable. They'll give you the down signal.
And that down signal's really important, isn't it? Because if you put the bar down before the down signal...
That's right. No lift. Despite a perfect technique, if you put it down too soon, it doesn't count anymore.
And you have to put it down in front of you.
That's right. You have to put it down in front of you. That's very important. You can't drop it behind you. That's, again, no lift.
So we're going up 6 kilos to 116 kilos here for Paul Ndika Matam. I really like this guy. He's got lots of personality as well as ability.
He does have a certain presence.
I think when you come from his family, where weightlifting is totally in the genes and the blood and everything else. So many of his family have ended up representing France. It wouldn't surprise me one day if that happens for him.
No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Those are quite the colorful lifting shoes he has as well. All part of the personality.
Just that little bit more difficult. Too close to the windpipe. You saw the shake of the head. The bar was just wrestling and then cutting off the oxygen.
That's right.
Not badly, but just enough
Just
to...
enough to not be able to lift 116 kilos over your head. So it's really fortunate that that happened then and not in the middle of the lift, middle of the drive. You also saw in the clean portion of the lift that he almost touched the platform with his glutes. So that isn't allowed.
Yeah. I'm not getting as much oxygen as I should be. He'll correct that. Tina Bell watches on as Lou Guignares comes on now. 113 we've got a total of 203. We've now gone up to 116 kilos.
Despite only a 3 kilo jump in his clean and jerk from his first to his second, he's had quite a weight between his attempts.
Coming down to 10 seconds, as you can see. I thought it might be a 2-to-1, and I thought it might be the left arm. And you can see from that left-hand referee, who gets a better view of the left arm. Now we'll have a look on the replay. He's got the lift at the moment. That's still a good lift, but have a look at that left arm.
Athlete up next. Followed by
it's marginal.
Might have been marginal. I would say that might have even been the shoulder movement rather than the elbow. But you only need 2 white lights, so no worries there.
Good news, though, for Lou. He's now built to 206 kilos. He has the biggest total. We just need to remind you that Razak Tanimowo yet to start.
That's right. He's going to be in a competition alone.
Here comes the man from the camera. I'm going to get this right this time. That's what he said to himself.
That's right.
116 on the bar. Third and final attempt.
He needs to do an easy clean to give himself a chance to jerk this.
Not bad. Moves the hands out.
Didn't really give himself any time there in between the clean and the jerk. Just went right under the bar.
It's difficult to tell, really, when he gets to that phase. Was his strength just evaporating, or I think he was probably strong enough to do that.
I think he was strong enough to do that. I just think he didn't give himself enough time.
And it means that he ends on 192 kilos.
So if we watch here, even in the slow-mo replay, it seems pretty fast, the transition from the clean into the jerk.
Now that's 2 kilos more than his entry total, but you know he's going to be disappointed because he only made 3 out of 6, 50%, and those are stats which are not going to get you the big kilos.
This is a very gutsy move by Fred Owala from Papua New Guinea. 3-kilo jump despite having missed the jerk at 115.
Well, effectively, this is an 8-kilo increase.
That's right, from his last successful lift. So, but he seems motivated and he seems confident. I believe if he just gives himself a little more time in that jerk, he'll get it. Very solid clean. He's well set up for this.
But stay still. Yes, he's got it.
He just turned around his whole day right there with that lift. Almost eliminated from the snatch, only making his 3rd attempt at 85 kilos.
Team Owala are happy.
That's right. It's an amazing lift. And he only got involved in weightlifting because the gym was next door to his house.
Yeah, that takes him to 203, by the way. Puts him currently into 2nd place in this division. He's 3 below the New Zealand. But look at that. That's real joy. He's young. Lots more to come.
So much potential.
Bars ready, 118 kilos.
That's what it means.
He's the only member of his team that still trains in Papua New Guinea because he's too young to go to the center, Oceania Training Center.
You know, and that's a 10-kilo personal best on the clean and jerk.
Not a bad day after all.
And, you know, when you look at his personal best on, the total was 198. It's now 203. Not a bad day at the office.
Not a bad day at the office at all.
Now, Lou's back with us now.
It's
Tina Ball, just giving the little shoulders a rub. Oh, no. Now, where are we going? Have they got this loaded correctly? 119. Now, this is better. He's obviously much more comfortable at this phase than the first discipline.
Yes, he looks like he's ready to attack this weight. They were holding him back while they were trying to load the weight. He was ready to be out there chalking up.
So this is for a 209 total. Can he do it?
This is his last lift. He has nothing to spare. You know, there's no reason to hold back now. If he wants to go home happy with his competition, he can. He's done 3 solid clean and jerks. Very solid clean. So close.
Yeah.
Got the arms locked out that time, but in order to get his arms locked out, he he had to go too low in the split, and that's why he missed that jerk.
125 kilos loaders.
Got to put it a little bit into context here for Lou. You know, this is his second Commonwealth Games, and, you know, 4 years ago, when he really was the youngster, he ended up ranked in 7th place, did a 94, 124 for a 216. He's ended up here like 10 kilos down on that. So you've got to put it in the context.
That's right, but you know, it's not a straight line when you're an athlete. It doesn't just keep going up and up and up with the totals all the time. There's lots of, you know, curves in that line, bring you back down to lower totals before you get up to higher totals in the future.
So we got one man left in the competition, and Lou is still the best, probably, of the rest in this competition.
That's right.
206, he holds the lead at the moment, ahead of Fredualo on 203, and he's had that pretty good day. Third place at the moment is Paul Ndika Matam of Cameroon. But those rankings, everybody could get pushed down one place here as this man comes out now, representing the Cameroon. Sorry, what am I saying? Representing Nigeria. I do beg everybody's pardon. Now, opening up on 125, so this is different class.
That's right. That's a very easy clean. He also has a very wide grip for the clean and jerk, despite being in the smallest weight class. And that's quite a solid jerk. Again, I think any weight that he can clean, he's going to be able to jerk today.
Yeah, he only got 1 out of 3. Remember, he had setbacks in the first half of the competition. Only brought 95 kilos forward, but he zoomed up to 220 with that effort. Now, he posted a very modest 210 as an entry total, so he's 10 kilos up on that at the moment. You know, he's a man who, at the very top of his form, can do 245 as a total. And that, were he in that condition now, he would have been in this evening's final.
That's right, he would have been placed, you know, potentially in the medal contention. But some athletes actually do prefer to lift in the B session, so I'm curious whether he put a lower total just to give himself a little bit more control in his warm-up.
Well, the lowest total, entry total in the A session later on, he's actually having a look at this, is 235. So, well, he's not going to make 15 kilos. He's going to go up at least 5 kilos, I'm sure.
That's right, and the way the totals work is you have to be able to start within 20 kilos of your listing total. So we know that no matter what, if that athlete's going to make a total, it's got to be at least 215.
But of course, if 1 or 2 tonight run into trouble, whatever total he posts, he might find himself creeping up the ranking.
That's correct. If there's another bomb out or another athlete that doesn't finish the competition, that gives everyone automatically a higher result, 1 rank higher for everyone in the competition.
Head coach Emmanuel Oshoma, there you get a really good idea of the team all coming out. They can all come out now because they don't have to concentrate on anybody else.
That's right.
It's just their own plan, so they can all be involved. But this is the man who has to produce the goods. 130 kilos on the bar. Now, just remember, this man weighs less than 56 kilos. So this is well over double body weight.
Well over double body weight.
He has time. He has 30 seconds. Locks on. You can see the grip much narrower for the clean and jerk.
I thought he had that. I was very surprised to see him miss that jerk. That was a very solid clean, powerful, fast.
Yeah, that was a bit of a giveaway.
I was convinced he had it, yes.
Yeah, shouldn't be doing that.
I'm wondering if he's going to go up in weight just as the others did before him, just to give himself a little extra motivation.
The clock starts.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it up another 5. I might put it on another 2.
That's right. Just enough for the coaches to show that they believe in him and that he has the ability to do more.
But I don't think they're going to, not at the
No,
moment.
they look like they have him ready to go right away again.
So he's on 220. He's looking for 225 for his overall performance.
He's the national champion of Nigeria. He's also the African champion.
He seems to waste no time in recovering between lifts. 30 seconds has gone by and he's already chomping at the bit here, ready to go.
Maybe he needs a little bit of that gospel music in his ear.
That's
now,
right.
just before this, yeah.
I wonder where those headphones are.
But you can see now he's actually going through this himself. That's the physical bit. Attila Adamfi, the technical director of the International Weightlifting Federation, just on the right of your picture here. Of course, this is all under the auspices of the International Weightlifting Federation. Just looking around me in the auditorium, pretty early in the morning, but not bad attendance here.
Well, this is great for the first session of the games. I think we're only going to see momentum build the more people see footage and realize just how awesome this is.
So, half a minute to win it.
That's right.
Hi.
Real focus.
That clean wasn't as easy as his last clean, so this is going to be a challenge mentally to actually succeed this jerk.
Believe.
Wow.
He did.
That was impressive.
So he takes this morning's session with 225, recovers. But again, another lifter who only makes 50%, 3 out of 6. But on this day, at this time, that was good enough. And he wins this 56 kilo B division with 225. Lou Guignares of New Zealand, 206. And Fred Oala representing Papua New Guinea with 203. There your 1, 2, 3. And where those figures will end up will relate a little later in the day when we go for the medals in the 56 kilo division.
Fred Oala from Papua New Guinea in second place. Lou Guignares from New Zealand. And in third
So
place,
an interesting opener there.
From Nigeria. Now the A section.
It's a great start to the games.
Will take place this evening. And maybe some of these guys here
But the stats, in a way, there's quite a bit of red on the scoreboard. And just looking at that roughly, it is about 50-50. 50 good lifts, 50% good, 50% failure. But there, you can see there, this is the standings for the clean and jerk. And of course, no longer any medals for this. They evaporated after Manchester 2002. So it's all about the overall total. And there, the facts and figures here. How good will 225 be in the overall 56 kilo category when we join it all together towards the end of the day?
That's right. It's going to be a great competition to watch, and especially for these 56
Ladies and
Group
gentlemen,
B athletes
that concludes
coming back this
session.
afternoon, or this evening, sorry, to watch the athletes compete for the
On behalf
medals.
of the Commonwealth Games Federation and Glasgow 2014 Organizing Committee for the Commonwealth Games, we hope you've enjoyed.
So that brings us to the end of this very first session. Remember, there are 15 categories, 8 for men, 7 for women, so 15 gold medals up for grabs in the Commonwealth Games.
That's right, and we'll see 2 of them today. It's very exciting.
The organizing committee would like to thank all Clydesiders
another kilo, please.